Hello and welcome! I sincerely hope that isn't trademarked. In today's video, I will be piloting Sram, a mono-white storm deck that seeks to use Sram as an engine to draw a vast number of cards. It utilizes cost reducers to cast its spell for free in order to draw into a variety of win conditions, many of which seem innocuous. On to the video. Okay, so with Sram, we're basically looking for early mana, preferably a reducer. And this hand has some early mana, and per usual, some cheap equipments. So it's pretty keepable. It's actually pretty good to have Soul Ring or like a mana card to be better. Turn 1 Sram online is amazing, but Soul Ring works just fine. So, because generally Sram kind of falls into that fast combo area of deck. So this table we have Selvala, which is also in that fast combo area. We have Tymna, which relies on Stax. And then a Thrasios Tymna deck, which can be a plethora of different things. It could be He-Man. It could be a Hulkweaver deck. I don't think many people still play the Doomsday version of that, but if they did, it could be like a Doomsday Storm list as well. Selvala's turn 1 should be probably some sort of mana accelerant. It's pretty straightforward. Yep, Utopia Sprawl. So he played Temple Garden as his land for turn and a Serra Ascendant. Okay. This is the first time in quite some time that I haven't been on Ad Nauseam, so I should have the relief of not getting smacked in the face with the Serra Ascendant. But of course, depending on what the Thrasios Tymna player is on, that really makes a difference in terms of whether or not he's playing Ad Nauseam. Oh yeah, I guess another possibility for the Thrasios Tymna deck would be some sort of Paradox Storm list, similar to the Thrasios File Smasher deck that I've been running. Of course, your cards would be different. You'd get like Angel's Grace and Ad Naus, which is like the main reason you'd want to run white. That and Bomberman combo. Okay, so Birds of Paradise. And tapping the Underground Sea for hopefully not a Mystic Remora. Viserys here. Alright, so this is some sort of Hulk variant. Probably the Hulkweaver deck. Which actually runs some Stax pieces, which I don't know how many of them are detrimental to us. Probably just the rule of law effects. Pretty standard turn 2 for Selvala. The chat discussion is what does Sram do from the Tana Tymna player's point of view, followed by don't worry about Sram for now, worry about Selvala. I suppose we'll see if we need to be worried about it or not, but I have a feeling that with this hand we have the potential to do some pretty decent things early on. At least that's the goal. Should be hitting the only black player, I would assume. And Vala, that turns off Paradise Mantle, which is not great for me, but it also turns off Selvala, which is okay. I'm going to play the Explorer's scope because it would potentially allow us to equip to Sram for card draw, but we're just going to play this Mana Crypt. And I think we go for the Recruiter of the Guard because then next turn we can play Pure Steel Paladin, get our double draw online. The double draw per card is huge, so. So yeah, with a really fast paladin like this and 1/0 mana equipment, so we'd have 4 additional mana after this the paladin. It'll be hard if we don't get a reducer. That's what I'll say. Paying 4 mana for a hunted troll. So let's hope that we get the 4 fairy tokens so that if we get like a skull clamp, we can draw more cards. The reason we'd be potentially a good target for that is because both the other players have Tymna, so you don't want to give them extra dongers so they can get more draws. Okay. Flooded Strand. I think we'll see a Tymna here for an additional draw. Talking about the average CMC of our decks. The Tana player made a joke about his average CMC being 3.8 in this deck or something like that. Yep. So the Tymna comes down, kind of as predicted. So going back to that CMC conversation, the average CMC in this deck is 1.51, which you guys can see on the deck list itself. But it's pretty low because I don't have the swords and the rings and the other things that really bump up the mana cost in the full version. But the full version also has just a few more outlets and wins and a little bit more resiliency with the swords in terms of protection for Sram. Let's see where Selvala goes. Just gonna hit Rogue, the Tymna player. I'm not sure that trying to race the Saracen is going to go well for him. Pays the 1 for Tymna to draw an extra card. These are pretty standard things. So everyone's tapped out the turn before our turn, and the only blue player has 2 cards in hand, so I'm feeling pretty good. Assuming we can actually, like, draw into a reducer, we should be golden. So we're going to start with Paladin. Looking back at this, I realized that I miscalculated the storm count. So basically, we're just playing all the lowest CMC things. We've gotten, I think, one other 0 CMC card so far. But Astronaut's Altar is a really good draw. It allows us to sack all these fairies and stuff to try to, well, to try to win, really. So, sack that guy. We'll cast the Flex Reservoir. I'm going to get the Reservoir online early so we can start gaining more life. We're going to probably try to manually storm off here. Unless unless another line presents itself. But at the moment, it seems like the best route. Alright, so I'm going to shoot the blue player first. So then with that extra mana, I'm going to cast this Silver Inlaid Dagger. Keep skipping over that hanky, but it's, finally going to cast it. We will kill the Selvala player because after playing Rogue's Gloves, we promised Rogue, the Tana Tymna player, that we would kill him last. So we're going to sack Recruiter. Just sequencing doesn't matter too much here. I'm going to play the Goldner. And then immediately sack the Goldner. Basically just a free spell. All we have to do is cast 2 more spells. So,
I'll probably just cast the Enlightened Tutor, and then I guess the dagger, so we can draw stuff. The dowsing dagger. So we're just gonna grab a helmet so we can finally get our reducer, but it really doesn't really matter. And that is that. Pretty straightforward fishbowl win, aside from the fact that there was an Ashnod's altar for mana instead of a reducer. But
in this game, the key to our victory was largely due to the decisions of our opponents and how our deck interacted with those decisions. The first major decision that impacted us was the Selvala player's choice to give us the fairy tokens from the hunted troll. In a double Tymna pod, this is almost always the correct play. However, fortunately for us, we drew our Ashnod's altar, which gave us a large enough sum of mana to manually storm off with Fishbowl. Let's just say we fulfilled our role as the hunter. The second major play of the game that aided us was the Thrasios Tymna player's choice to Drake the already neutered Selvala instead of the Sram. It was revealed later that he had Hulk in hand, so his goal was to use the Selvala mana to cast Hulk and sack it to Seer to win on the following turn. That circumstance led to our turn that was a double draw mania. Aside from opposing choices that aided us, our opening hand and draws were also incredibly strong. To have both Sram and Pally out by turn 3 is huge. Having both Mana Crypt and Soul Ring in the opening few cards is, of course, also greatly advantageous. Everything else about this match was fairly straightforward, excepting my Soul misplay. Did you see it? When I got the Mox Opal, I had Monastery Mentor in hand. Casting the Mentor would have made whiffing nigh impossible because the altar with the token producer virtually gives us infinite mana with a draw 2 per spell effect in play. Aside from that, a turn 3 win with Sram always feels good, and for the Dance of the World, Sram lives on. If you enjoyed this video, please press that like button and subscribe to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you here in the future.